Hello, my name's Alison Lavers and I'm a teacher at Camden Haven High School. The subject I teach in Year 11 and 12 is called Society and Culture, and this film is to inform you about society and culture. Society and culture is studied through learning concepts, content, that's subject material, and research methods, and all these three are studied in Year 11 and in Year 12. Today we're going to look at the topics and the focus studies that are studied in this subject. On the screen is a picture that shows some of the topics that we study. What is society and culture? It is a subject where students study their own societies and culture and those people different to themselves. So not just yourself, but others. Students investigate themselves as well as others at a personal, group and global scale. Topics are studied by applying concepts, contemporary examples and focus studies. SAC, for short, combines the learning of content, concepts and research methods, as I said before. It is an analytical and cross-disciplinary subject drawing from sociology, psychology, philosophy, anthropology, gender studies, geography, history, politics and law. Students learn about cultural continuities and changes within society and cultures. Topics studied are relevant to the current needs of students, their interests and their future lives. The diagram on the screen is the society and culture diagram, which is showing the 5 fundamental concepts. They are the basis of the work we do in society and culture, and they span throughout Year 11 and Year 12's work. The first one is person. The second is culture. The third is society. The next one is environment. And the last one is time. So we look at societies and cultures, their influence on persons, and the environment and time. There are 6 additional concepts as well that span the whole course. These are also looked at in all of the topics: power, authority, gender, identity, technologies and globalisation. All 11 of these concepts are studied in Year 11 and in Year 12. There are also related concepts, and each topic has a list of related concepts that are particular to that topic, but some span more than one topic. What topics are studied in Year 11 Society and Culture? We study 3 topics in Year 11, the social and cultural world, personal and social identity, intercultural communication. The middle topic, personal and social identity, is the longest topic, but only just. All topics have focus studies and we will discuss those shortly. Topic 1 is the social and cultural world. This topic introduces the concepts, additional and fundamental, as well as the related concepts for the topic. Content includes multicultural and hybrid societies, how people interact with other individuals, with groups and community, society as a construct that develops through time, how groups and institutions shape and are shaped by individuals, the application of the fundamental concepts to school, family, media and another group, and social and cultural research process, methods and ethics, which are also studied in Year 12. The focus study for this topic is the Amish, which is different to our culture. And there is a picture of the Amish. We look at roles and other aspects of their culture. The second topic is personal and social identity. As I said before, it's the longest topic. We look at the development of personality, self-awareness and self-concept, identity and social self. The role of socialisation is a major section of this topic, and you will learn what socialisation is and the factors that cause socialisation. The nature versus nurture debate is something that is talked about by psychologists and sociologists, and that's something we study as well. Adolescence as a social construct and its validity for different cultures, developmental theorists and their theories, and we look at the transition through life course, changing rights and responsibilities and generational theories. Our focus study for personal and social identity is the Yolngu of Arnhem Land in the Northern Territory. We will do a film study with this focus study as well. And there are some pictures of the people from the Yolngu, including the film that we will study, Yolngu Boy. Intercultural communication is the last topic in Year 11. It's probably my favourite topic. We look at how culture determines the way people encode, transmit and interpret messages. We look at verbal and non-verbal communication, the role of communication in maintaining social relationships and social control, individual rights and responsibilities in relation to communication, communication technologies and citizenship, the impact of changing technologies throughout the whole course, the communication accommodation theory, CAT for short, and we examined a cultural group different to that of our own based on gender or religion or ethnicity. The focus study for this group is Indonesia, particularly Bali. And there is a picture of students from my school where they went on the bridge program to Indonesia. We look at the bridge program as a part of our general work on Indonesia. In Year 12 we have 4 topics, 2 core topics and 2 depth studies. The core topics are the Personal Interest Project and Social and Cultural Continuity and Change. The depth studies that we do at Camden Haven High School are Popular Culture and Belief Systems and Ideologies. Topic 1, Social and Cultural Continuity and Change, is the first of our examinable topics. It makes up the questions in Section 1 of the HSC examination. In this topic you will study research methods again, adding to what you learnt in Year 11. We'll look at change as a complex process. We'll also look at evolutionary change and transformative change, different types of change. We look at resistance to change, which can lead to cultural lag. We also look at the influence of continuity and change have on development of society and the impact of modernisation and westernisation on social and cultural continuity and change. We look at theories of social change, conflict, evolutionary, functionalist and interactionist. We study those and judge those. And structural changes in the process of and agents of change and the direction of change. Our focus study for this topic is a focus study country, and we look at India. And we're going to talk a little bit about that now. India is an interesting country, and we go from its history through to contemporary times, mainly focusing on contemporary times. But we have to get a little bit of background information. We look at the nature of Indian traditional society and culture. We look at power and authority. We study the impact of continuity and change upon the lives of individuals and groups. Gender roles and status of men and women in India is our sub-focus, so we spend a fair bit of time on that. We look at if change is necessary progress in India, which groups benefit from change and which do not. We look at technology's impact on India, looking at the rate and direction of change, and we apply conflict theory to India. The last section of the depth study, this core topic, is predicting the future after looking at trends. And we do that with all the topics. We have to predict the future in the next 5 to 10 years. First depth study is popular culture. It starts out with some general work and then we look at a focus study. In the general work we look at what is popular culture and how it differs from high culture, folk culture or compost culture. Why are memes, fads and trends not popular culture? And we look at the 4 distinguishing characteristics of popular culture. Associated with commercial products and paraphernalia, develops from a local to a global level, achieves widespread consumer access and is constantly changing and evolving. And there's some pictures to show that our focus study is rock music from before it started, rock and roll, through to contemporary times. And of course Elvis featured in the early days, but there you have some pictures throughout time. Sex Pistols from the 1970s with punk rock, Pink with probably a more popular culture rock in the 1990s and since, and King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, who are a contemporary rock band which I quite like. Rock and roll has lots of sub-genres. In this in-depth study, we have several things that we have to study. We look at its creation and development. We look particularly at its origins, including its mythology. The consumption of rock music. How is it consumed? Who consumes it? Is there factors that influence it, like age, class, ethnicity, gender particularly, location, sexuality? Control of rock music. Some people wanted to control it. Some people wanted to embrace it. We look at that, and that leads into different perceptions of rock music. Acceptance and rejection, changing perceptions of value, and the construction and deconstruction of gender. And then we look at its contribution of rock music to social change, also looking at social issues within rock music. And then the last section is looking at the near future, in the next 5 to 10 years, looking at the current trends to predict those next 5 to 10 years. The last topic we study that's examined is belief systems and ideologies. We have an introduction to this topic, which includes the similarities and differences between belief systems and ideologies, the nature and role of shared values and understanding within belief systems and ideologies, and how this creates meaning, purpose, and the identity for individuals and groups, how belief systems and ideologies express values and beliefs and ways of perceiving the world, the nature and role of hierarchy and internal power structures within belief systems and ideologies, the process of secularisation in the development and extent of belief systems and ideologies within Australia. Our focus study is Buddhism. As you can see there, there's a picture of Buddha and one of the Dalai Lama. In this focus study, we study the philosophy of Buddhism, including its historical context, looking at principles, beliefs, values, and the impact on personal and collective identity, and the nature and extent of adherence, that's people that follow Buddhism in the world today. Tradition and culture in Buddhism is also looked at, places, texts, and unique language, the role of symbols, rituals, and customs, myths and stories, how Buddhism defines gender and gender roles. The internal structure of Buddhism is also studied. The relationship of Buddhism to wider society, whether it accepts, rejects relationships or ethical issues in society, and peace and conflict in the world. We think Buddhism is all peaceful, but there are some exceptions, and they're quite interesting and quite sad. Then we look at the near future, looking at current trends again to predict what's going to be probable continuities or possible changes in the future in the next 5 to 10 years. The Personal Interest Project is a HSC major work. It's worth 40% of the HSC examination mark, and you start at day 1 of year 12, and you are supported by your teacher, and you can also find other people to help you with it. It's a combination of primary research using different research methods and secondary research to study a topic that you choose that relates to the year 12 course. You have 9.5 months to work on it, and it's usually due week 3 of term 3. The first thing we do on with the popular culture is learn what it is, with the PIP, is learn what it is and decide on a topic. And that is done by producing a research proposal. I have a list of past PIP topics there which are worth having a read of. The first one is unpacking the bag, which a student chose because her family worked in out-of-home care and they also had foster children, and so therefore it was quite personal to her. The second one is mockery, misogyny, mendacious, and how about misunderstood. That student earned full marks for his personal interest project on the men's rights movement, showing that that movement is working towards gender equality just as feminism is. Ethical is the new black. I've had a few students do a similar type of topic where they're looking at humans' consumption and whether or not it's becoming a huge impact on the environment and on people's well-being. Walt Disney Presents The Perfect Princess is one of many of the topics I've had students study on to do with gender expectations, particularly on females, and this student studied Disney princesses from the start of them through to contemporary times and what had changed in them, and whether or not the pop culture was changing society or whether society was changing pop culture. The second last one there is fact or fiction. This student was celiac and also lactose intolerant, and she wanted to know whether or not all the people that were getting on the gluten-free diet were actually really needed it, and whether or not pop culture and other people promoting it was leading people to jump on the bandwagon. And the last one there is you only want it because you can't have it, and this student had her own non-government organisation where she supported schools in Fiji that were underprivileged, and she compared those schools with her own school, state school in New South Wales. Relevance of society and culture. Subjects that overlap with society and culture. There are many of these, and this is because of the way we study, being analytical, or the content that we actually study. So English is definitely an overlap with SAC, and there's been studies done to show that students usually go better in English because they've done society and culture, and vice versa. Modern history, geography, legal studies, business studies, PDH, PE, music, drama, community and family studies all have some content that might overlap a little in the topic. Further studies and career paths. Society and culture is useful for anything to do with working with people. So if you want to study either at TAFE or university, it will be useful because you're studying and doing research, and society and culture does a lot of research. Tertiary various bachelor degrees with direct relevance to sociology, psychology, anthropology, and any research-based disciplines. Career paths, all jobs to do with people, especially media, communications, the arts, teaching, nursing, social work, pathology, police, force, higher education, and the travel industry, but also retail and hospitality. So if you're interested in studying something a little bit different from what you've studied in the junior years, if you're interested in sociology or psychology, if you like doing research, if you want to do only a 2-hour exam instead of a 3-hour exam, because it's a major work, it's only a 2-hour exam, society and culture might be a subject worth looking into. You can talk to myself, you can contact the school, and I will organise a time to talk with you. And also you could go online and look at the society and culture syllabus to get a bit of an understanding, more of an understanding of what we study. Thanks for paying attention, and I hope you have fun choosing your subjects.